Hi, I'm Shelby with Little Justice Leaders, and today we're going to be talking about 5 misconceptions that kids and adults might have about mental health that you're going to want to address with your little ones so that they can develop a positive idea about mental health and wellness. The first misconception is the idea that only a person with a diagnosis should be working on their mental health. Of course, we know this is completely false. All of us need to be working on keeping our mental wellness strong all the time. That includes practices like yoga, mindfulness, or anything else that keeps you grounded and keeps you feeling good in your mind and body. So this is something we should be reinforcing with our kids. You don't need to have a mental health condition to be worried about and thinking about your mental health and wellness. The second misconception is this idea that someone with a mental health issue should be able to be strong enough to sort it out on their own or have enough willpower to get over it. Of course, we know, just like any medical diagnosis, a mental health concern is likely going to need treatment. Just like any kind of health problem you may have, you're going to need to find appropriate treatment if you're having an issue with your mental health. And it has nothing to do with having enough willpower or being strong enough to get over it on your own. So make sure that your kiddos know that mental health problems sometimes require treatment, just like breaking an arm would require treatment from a medical health professional. The third misconception is this idea that if you experience really strong emotions like anger, sadness, or even happiness, that there's something wrong with you. A lot of times we have stigmatized emotions and feelings in our culture. And so when kids have a super strong reaction to something, they think that means there's something wrong with them. Or if someone else has a super strong reaction, they think that means that's something wrong with them. In reality, having feelings and emotions is completely normal. And part of mental health and wellness is learning how to manage those emotions, how to sit with them, how to handle them, those big things when they come up without lashing out, for example. But there's nothing wrong with you if you have really strong emotional responses to events that are happening in the world. That's completely normal. The fourth misconception is a generalization about what it means to have certain mental health conditions. So for example, the idea that someone who has obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, is just focused on having everything clean and organized all the time, or that a person who suffers from depression is sad and angry and upset all the time, or that a person with bipolar disorder is having severe mood swings all the time. When in reality, these disorders are extremely complex and there's a lot to them. There's a lot of different ways it might show up in the world and for an individual person. And when we overgeneralize what it means to have a certain mental health condition, that erases the experiences of people who are actually living with that condition. And it also makes it harder for us to understand what we might be struggling with when all we know about mental health is these broad strokes that really take away the complexity of what it means to be suffering from a mental health disorder. Last but not least, a final misconception that a lot of people have is that there's one best way to treat mental health conditions. This isn't true. For every single person who's suffering with their mental health, they might need a different kind of path, and that's okay. Just like with anything else in life, there's a lot of diversity in how people seek treatment and how people want it and what people need, and that's totally normal. So make sure that your kids understand that there isn't just one approach, and there's not just one correct way to approach mental health and mental wellness. So there you have it, 5 misconceptions to break with your little ones now. I would encourage you to start involving your kids in self-care practices, whatever that might look like for them and for you, because that's the way we get young people on a track of creating a space of mental wellness for themselves that's going to last a lifetime. So thank you so much for listening and for doing this work with your kids. If you want more resources on how to teach kids about social justice, be sure to subscribe to our channel.